Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Dora and this is my third update to Pan That Palette and Build Your Own palette. I'm working on two palettes this year, the Revolution Pro Smoked palette and then also the Too Faced, that's my Jam palette. But the bigger one is my main focus palette for the year, and then I've also got my BYOP in here, and I did make some switches at my last update. I won't be doing that today. But if you do stick to the end of the video, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update in terms of where I am with my panning journey, what are my plans for the coming couple of months. Yeah. In today's update, I will be sharing some new pans with you. I'm going to show you where I've met my goal and maybe where I haven't quite done that yet. And this is a reminder, I need to share my weight differences on these two palettes as well, because I forgot to do that last time. Please make sure you check out my description box below, because I've linked to Amber F, who's the creator of Pan That Palette, the godmother of Pan That Palette, and there's also a link to Jessica there, and I want to say Dana, because I've sort of joined their Build Your Own Palette group collab. I believe they didn't create the project, but they've got their own little thing going on with a continuous build your own palette that you can swap out whenever you want and put various goals on, etc. Okay, I tend to start with my main Pan That palette in these videos, so I'm going to do that, of course. So first of all, I'm going to show you a picture of what this palette looked like in the intro. And as you can see, I had two pans in there already, in Sepia and in Muse. This was because this palette was a Project Level Up Level 2 palette a couple of years ago. And here's what the palette looked like last time. And at that point, I had 5 pans. So across the first couple of months, I was able to hit 3 new pans. And here's what the palette is looking like today. I've hit 2 new pans, which I'm so happy about. I did share this as a little tiny spoiler at the end of my previous update. I hit pan and diffuse after just 1 more use, but I have since expanded the pan a little bit as well. And then the other new pan is in Deceive here. So very happy with that. 7 pans in here now. We're going to talk about goals at the end of this section, but yeah, you can guess I want to hit more pans basically for next time. Why don't we go, no, I'm going to do the weights and then I'm going to go through the uses one by one. In the intro, this palette weighed 211.3 grams and the advertised weight is 1 gram per shadow. Obviously, you know, we're weighing the mirror here and even my little sticky note where I tally my uses. Which, by the way, I put that in pencil, so I erased that and then used the exact same sticky note again. So there's never going to be a weight difference because of that. Today, this palette weighs 208.2 grams, which means I've got a weight difference of 3.1 grams since the intro. So I've used up about 3 shadows worth, which is great to me. I did mention in the intro that it's not a goal for me to finish this entire palette this year. I really focused in on a 9-pan palette, so just half of this, if you will, by Barry M last year, and I did manage to complete it. I don't want to put that kind of pressure on myself for this year. I really like this palette, but I don't have to finish it. There are also 3 pressed glitters in here, Ignite, Smite, and Trigger. So they're kind of like, yeah, not a priority for me. But I would like to hit pan in every single shadow. Because it's a focus palette, I think I'm going to finish a few shades in here as well, but we'll see. The goals I set at my last update for this palette were to do a no pan left behind, but just on 17 shades. Because I just hit pan in Trigger here, the pressed glitter, I didn't want to force myself to use it again. So 17 of the 18 shadows to do no pan left behind on, which means to use them at least once. And then my second goal was to hit 2 new pans, either in Fortify, Diffuse or Deceive, and yes, I managed to do that. Not in Fortify because I'm working on a very similar dark brown matte in another project, so I've sort of been ignoring this one a little bit. You will see when it comes to the numbers. Void I used once for a total of 20 uses in this project. Emit I used once for a total of 6 uses. This is a very squishy I don't love this shadow. It does look really nice now. It's kind of difficult to pick it up on a brush. It does look nice when I put it on top of a shadow stick, a shimmery, creamy one. Doesn't work so much on a regular eyeshadow primer. If I do that with a shadow stick, with like, say, like a silvery one, champagne-y one, then it creates like a really nice gray, deeper base that I can then use to put shimmers on top to help them stand out more. And I think that's the way I'm gonna try and hit pan here in a mid. Such a long way away from that with just 6 total uses, but I'm sort of like postponing my worry about this shadow, I guess. And yeah, maybe it is just about applying it with my fingers as a base. Maybe that's why it's squishy. I'll keep you posted on that, of course. Diffuse, my new pan, 5 more uses. So like I said, only 1 more use to hit pan in it after 12 uses within this project, but I've now got a total of 16 uses in this project. Trigger, I completely ignored. That was a pan last time, and I've got a total of 4 uses on here, and that's only because I was using it as a nail polish topper. It would have, you know, taken me a lot longer than just 4 uses to hit pan in this shadow. Fortify, just 2 uses, but a total of 31 uses. Yeah, and you can see it's such a lovely shadow. I've just been holding off on this one because I would like to prioritize the other shadow. Vexer might have a bit of a pan expansion, just 2 more uses since my last update, but 17 in total. The shimmers in this palette are so crumbly. And sometimes like these bigger chunks sort of come off. Moving on to Halt, 1 use, 4 in total. Smite, 1 use, also 4 in total. I've got this on top of my mani. Of course, I was totally stalling on this one. Yeah, the pressed glitters are just not a favorite. They used to be, and I really used to enjoy wearing them on my eyes. But yeah, I think with like eye health, I'm just not into it anymore. Muse, I've got 6 uses on and 13 in total. Maybe a bit of a pan expansion as well. Tremble, 2 uses, 8 in total. There's a really nice disturbance in this shadow, and then the next one as well, actually. Fuse, I've got 1 use on and 5 in total. Octane, 3 uses, 7 in total. This is becoming a favorite shadow. I mean, yeah, just 3 uses, but you know, you can see 7 in total. It was never a favorite. I think in the intro I said I didn't really like this shadow. I have lately been so getting into neutral shadows, and what I find is that depending on the outfit that I'm wearing, I can create a neutral tone by mixing the shimmers in this palette together, and then I can get a more accurate tone match in terms of what I'm wearing. Octane is really helpful. I do have some more sort of rusty colored outfits, yeah, and I've just switched my wardrobe over from winter to spring summer. So I'm sort of rediscovering my wardrobe right now, and I attend a lot of clothes swaps as well, so there's always an influx of new things. Well, new to me, still secondhand stuff coming in. Anyway, all this to say that I think Octane might actually become a favorite shadow. Yeah, this is why that palette is so good. You start off thinking, I'm gonna hate this shadow, and then through the boundary of saying, this is my focus palette now, I'm not gonna access everything in my collection right now, that kind of sparks creativity, because then you kind of have to, right? And then yeah, I would have never really thought of doing that. This also looks really nice on top of pink looks as a topper, to just add some sort of vibrancy, some sparkle to it. But yeah, Octane, it's a good and versatile shadow. Deceive, my other new pan. I've got 9 uses in here and 35 in total. So I hit pan after 27 uses and expanded the pan. Sepia, 8 uses, 17 in total. Pan expansion. Ignite, the 3rd pressed glitter, 1 use, 4 in total. This one I used on my eyelids, and I've got that on my lids today, mixed in with more shadows from the other 2 palettes. So yeah, from this palette, this is the only one I'm wearing today, and it's only because I still needed that 1 use to complete the no pan left behind minus trigger. Quell, I've got 3 uses on, 6 in total. Smolder, 1 use, 11 in total. And Aroma, 1 use, 8 in total. This is a matte teal. Kind of like wearing it in the outer corner mostly. I'm gonna have to probably put it all over my lids later on once I'm trying to hit pan in here, but yeah, not pushing that just yet. In terms of goals, I would like to do No Pan Left Behind on here again, just in the same fashion, so minus trigger. I would also like to try and hit 2 new pans. The candidates, I believe, are Tremble and Fuse, maybe even Octane if I go ham on it, possibly Fortify as well once I stop using the other one. I'm gonna try 2 more pans. Yeah, excited. I'm still really enjoying this palette. Let's continue with Too Faced That's My Jam. Here is a picture of what it looked like in the intro. This palette also already had 2 pans in Pickup Limes, the inner corner highlight type shadow, and then also in Jam on it. And here's what this palette looked like at my previous update, which was exactly 4 weeks ago. And here it is today. I don't think it looks that different. I'd already hit the 2 new pans last time, Toast and Spread It. And I wanted to try and hit pan in Grape Soda here. I didn't manage to do that. We're just gonna have to, you know, whiz through this update a little bit. The Build Your Own palette update is maybe a bit more exciting, but nonetheless, let's go through the weight differences. So in the intro, this palette weighed 100.5 grams. It weighs 99.8 grams today, which means I have used up a total of 0.7 grams. What is advertised here? Let me peel that back and see if it says it. The small eyeshadows are 0.8 grams. And the larger ones are 0.95 grams. They're very densely packed though. So I've sort of used almost a small eyeshadow pan's worth of shadow since then. Okay, I'll take it. Goals on here, like I said, I want to hit pan here, not there yet. I'm kind of close. I also wanted to do a No Pan Left Behind on here. And the third goal was to do a sort of signature focus look, which involves these 2 shadows here and then the purple one as a topper, 3 times minimum. Spread It, I used twice for a total of 12 uses. Grape Soda, I used 3 times for a total of 11 uses. Pickup Limes, 3 times for a total of 17 uses. This is the shadow I've got in my inner corner today. I'm wearing Grape Soda as well, of course, because I thought, you know, I might suddenly hit pan, a surprise pan for the update, but yeah, that didn't work out, never mind. So I'm swatching on my other hand here the shadows that I've got on today. So I've got Grape Soda, which does seem to have some kind of satin. It looks like a matte, but there's something satin about it, slightly satin. I've got this one all over my lid, just on top of like a regular eyeshadow primer. And then Pickup Limes is the one I've got in the inner corner. There's a bit of a green flip here and a bit of a neutral base as well. Although I do wonder whether that's maybe just, you know, from these other shadows or from this one specifically, Toast. Anyway, it looks pretty though. Here we go. Okay. Where was I? So this pink one here, Jam Session, I've got 1 use on, 4 in total. We Be Jamming, 1 use, 8 in total. Can you see how bumpy this is looking? I do not like this shadow. The formula on here is just a bit, it's kind of flaky and dry, but then maybe it's sort of gone off a bit. It doesn't really come off the brush that well. It sort of seems like a topper shadow. The swatch isn't terrible. And it does look pretty. I just can't get it to work properly. I'd still like to hit pan in it though. Again, with this palette, I think, like with the smoked palette, I would like to hit pan in everything. I tried that a couple of years ago and then sort of gave up. I think I can do it. The purple shadow, Violet Femmes, 1 use, 6 in total. Toast I used twice for a total of 8 uses. and then jam on it, 1 use, 6 in total. As you can see, I did not do this combo 3 times. I did it once, just like the previous time. In terms of goals on here, no goals. I would like to use it, but I don't want to stress over it. Not at this point where I am right now, and this might make more sense when I update you on what's going on and what I'm thinking about. But yeah, right now, this is my main focus. It makes more sense. Okay, let's move on to the BYOP then. Here's a picture of what my BYOP looked like in the intro of this project. I made some changes at my previous update. So here's what it was looking like then. And here it is today. Maybe you can see there's one change, and that is that I've hit a pan. So this is a repress of a repress. I think maybe a 3rd repress, so it's very thin in there. So I'm not really counting it towards my total amount of pans hit across this year. But still, it's a pan. And that always feels satisfying, like there's some progress, because this is a shadow that I would like to finish this year. The goal I had on here was also just to do a no pan left behind on here, and like with the That's My Jam and the smoked palette, I managed to achieve that. The look that I'm wearing today, because I knew I wanted to film it today, that was basically a little bit like a palette bingo, where it just had some shadows left that I hadn't touched yet, and thought, okay, let me just combine them. So here's a Glaminatrix shadow. Oh, that is pretty, look at that. So I've got this as a topper shadow as well, which looks really like quite green here, but from a different angle, it looks more blue. So these two are lightly dusted. I've got this one as a topper shadow, and then this one as well. And so yeah, this one all over the lid, and then I've got a dark brown matte, this one here, lash line. Got that in the outer corner because it's on top of the purple, makes it like far more cool tone. Obviously, like I've blended it out so it's not as deep. But yeah, this is the color story that I'm wearing today, and it's really interesting, isn't it, how you can make it look so different depending on where you go in and use a lot. Like I used a lot of this one, but then less of the others. Still though, let's go through the uses again one by one. This one is a Sisley and Bare Minerals Franken Bronzer Blush. I've got 8 uses on here. I will include the totals. These shadows are all Glaminatrix shadows. I got these from Ruth. And this red matte here, I used it once, and I've got a total of 6 uses on here. This one use today, brand new. I only switched it out at my last update. This one here called Vanilla. I have got 1 use on here for a total of 3 uses in this project. This next row, these are all Revolution shadows. This one here is called Calm. I've got 2 uses on here, a total of 7. Sativa, I've got 1 use on for a total of 3. This was a roll-in last time, and it's called Relax, and I've just got 2 uses on here. This was also a roll-in last time. This is a Franken. If you're interested in seeing me Franken my Constellation palette by Revolution, that's basically where this one came from. This one has got 1 use on, and it was new at my last update. The Kiko, I've got 2 uses on, 6 in total in this project. Yeah, I've got a pan here. I'd love to be able to finish it. It's very thin in there. And then these 3 are Natasha Denona shadows from the Ayana palette, which I also got from Ruth. This one is Glam Green. I've got 1 use on here. I wore that yesterday. I really, really liked it. 5 uses in total. Then this one called Crease. 4 uses, which is exactly how many uses I always have at these updates. So a total of 12 uses. Lash line, just 1 use, and a total of 7 uses in this project. I will make some switches, but not today. Basically, what I want to do is, maybe you can guess if you're, if you've been with me for a while, you know that once a year I like putting myself on a 30-day makeup bag challenge, which means I take everything out of my everyday makeup drawer, and especially to reduce the amount of palettes and eyeshadows that I'm working on, but all my other makeup products too. I just put like 1, maybe 2 items per category in, and that's all I'm allowed to use for that 1 month or 30-day period. I tend to start the mid-month because why not? I know when I'm starting my next 30-day makeup bag challenge, but you won't be seeing it until after I've completed it. I'm going to be filming it obviously on day 1, the intro, and then there'll be some slightly different content, I think, in the meantime. There'll be some like planning content updates as well, of course, here and there. I will pause some projects. I'll go into all of that in my intro. I've decided I want to work on my BYOP as part of my palette allowance, and I need to swap some of them out because there will be shadows that I'm missing from here that I'm gonna need. I enjoy these challenges because they always help me to just get rid of some of the overwhelm, but they also help me to focus, make great progress on items. And I always have some great insights from doing these 30-day challenges as well every year. I mean, this will be round 3 this year, by the way. There's always something new that I'm learning. It feels like it's a journey, isn't it? And we go through different phases of life, and so it's never quite, oh, now I've learned this and bam, you know, it's set in stone now, this new system of how I'm thinking about my makeup and how that translates into other areas of my life. No, like we develop and we move on, and our preferences change and our circumstances change, etc. So that's why I like doing these things so much, because every year there's a slightly different reason why I want to do it, slightly different things that I'm interested in, excited about, slightly different needs that I have. Yeah. So yeah, just wanted to let you know about that, even though you won't be seeing it until mid-May. Nonetheless, I am excited with my progress. I'm really excited about this palette. Of course, this is going to be in my 30-day selection, as is my BYOP. I don't think it's going to be this one. I think I need to just streamline. Thank you so much for being here all the way until the end. I really, really appreciate you. I hope you subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I also hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night, wherever you are, and I'm sending you so much love. Take care. Bye.